Guys, it's me. I'm back.
What's up, party people?
We're like Mads. Come on. All right, this show is taking a turn for the.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Monster Bass Live. Super happy to be here with you guys. Again, if you weren't here last live that we had, I know I am not Rick. I am Samantha. Rick is actually just getting back from his trip to Thailand, which I am so excited to hear about. And he should be back doing more lives with you guys here shortly. I know he's going to have a ton of stories to tell you guys as well. Something to do with a pig and possibly having to go to the hospital there, maybe getting some rabies shots. So I know he has a lot of great stories to tell you guys. So we are so excited to have Rick back on the next live. So be prepared for that. But today, you guys, hello, everyone. Hi, see you all in the chat. We have a great episode. We have Zach and Bella here today. They are going to be talking about guiding. We're going to be talking about work-life balance, big bass in the community up here in Northern California. Zach has a guiding company that is known to just pull in huge bass, and his wife Bella is right there by his side. So I'm very excited to bring them to you guys today to ask a bunch of questions and to really just talk about big bass, the life of guiding, relationships and fishing, because that's something I know, and I know you guys have a lot of questions about how do I get my partner into fishing. So we have a lot of great things coming up for you guys today. I see everyone typing in the chat. Hello. I want to know from you guys, is anybody new? So if you're new, type in the chat for me. Let's see how many new people we have on there. And I'm going to go through some of these names. We got Mike. Hello, Mike. I know you're not new, but hello there. We got Buzzbait. We got a lot of people in here. J-Boy Outdoors. Hello. New fishing. I know I've seen you on here quite a few times. Man stuff, dad stuff. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Hey, I'm new. Hello. And that's Glendoy. Is that Glendoy? I think is how you say it. Hello. Ricky. Hi, Ricky. You're new. We have Rich. You guys, we have a lot of new people on today. Welcome. Sorry I get to be the face that you see the first time, but I'm super happy you guys are here. We have Cody. Mitch, is that Mitchie? Wow, you guys, we have so many new people on here. Welcome. I'm so excited for you guys to be here. As you know, the holidays are coming up. We are right around the corner from the holiday season. Super grateful, and just wanted to tell you guys how much gratitude I have for you guys being here. This is a family, so being able to spend it with my Monster Bass family, you guys all in the chat getting to spend it with each other is awesome. I hope you guys get to spend it with your families. I know the holidays can also be hard for people sometimes. So please lean into this community if you guys do have a hard time during the holidays. Maybe you don't have family to spend it with, or it's just a hard time for you. Post in the Facebook group. Talk to us on Instagram. However you guys can actually connect with the family. This Monster Bass family is like glue. Everybody is best friends. So reach out to your fellow friends here in the Monster Bass community. Share some PB pictures. Share some fishing pictures. Start some conversations. This group of Monster Bass community is truly a huge family. So whether you're new, whether you're not new, get to know each other, comment in the comment section, tell us where you're from, tell us your PB, get to know each other, and continue that conversation, you guys, in the Facebook groups and on Instagram, because like I said, it's holiday season. We should be spending it with friends and family, and that includes the Monster Bass family. So thank you guys all for being here. One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about before we start, I got something that I wanted to share with you guys that I want to see how many of you had this, okay? So a few months ago, this popped up into my brain and I just had to order one, and it is the Lunker Bass. How many of you guys had this, whether it was this one or it was the older version? Type in the chat. I want to see how many of you guys actually had one of these, because when it popped into my brain, I had to order one. So I ordered one off of online. It's actually a vintage one that came in the package. But yeah, I had to order one of these, and once I get some batteries, I'm going to put it in here. I forgot how many things are on here. Somebody said first time seeing that. That is so funny. I actually think this is what caused my fishing addiction at a young age. I think it was this, because it like vibrates when you have a fish and you actually have to set the hook and reel it in to actually keep the fish on. This thing was like crack to me when I was a kid. Yep, people are saying yes, yes. I have the one from 1980. Dang. Yeah, you guys have, yep, deep sea fishing one. I know there's a deep sea one too. So when I get batteries in here, I will make a video for you guys of just the nostalgia and how it works, because this was my favorite toy growing up. And like I said, I truly attribute this to my fishing addiction. So I'm excited to give that a try. All right, you guys. So we don't have any PB photos coming in as of right now. So please submit those on the Monster Bass website if you guys do have any PB photos. I know it's going to slow down a little bit just with the season. And I know today we're going to talk a little bit about winter fishing and PBs in the winter, things like that, those big fish. But if you guys do catch any PBs, we love to celebrate those. So please submit them over on the website. So on our next live, we can celebrate that with you guys. All right. So without further ado, we are going to bring on our guest today. We have Zach and Bella. And I just want to preface this, you guys. Last time I forgot to ask if you have questions. I know you guys were typing them in the chat, but I didn't leave a spot for questions at the end. I promise we'll do that today. So I apologize. But please feel free to type your questions in while we're going over these so we can answer them ahead of time. And then there will be a spot at the end for questions as well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Zach and Bella. Hello, you guys. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing good. Good. Super happy to be here. And thank you for taking the time to be here with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So just to give us a little bit of a background, we're going to ask you guys some questions about each of your backgrounds together. So that way I know you guys, obviously we've been Instagram friends for quite some time. My boyfriend and Zach are friends. They talk a lot. I talk a lot with Bella. So I know you guys pretty well, but I want you guys to explain kind of your background, why you're here today, anything that really just kind of tells the community who you are and what got you into fishing. So Zach, we'll start with you. I'm going to start with you, and then Bella, you'll have the same question too. So let's start out with, how did fishing become a part of your life? So start us from the very beginning, Zach. Like, when did you start fishing, and when did you realize like you wanted to pursue that in a further career or passion in your life?
Well, I mean, I don't really know when I started fishing. I just know I have pictures and stuff as a kid with fish that evidently I caught. So a lot of that was my dad and my grandpa kind of just like helped me reel them in type of stuff. So, but yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, Texas and Iowa. So I have walleye, pike, just drum, all kinds of just different species that I caught. But my first memories are definitely kind of Texas bass fishing. And kind of learning, kind of pond hopping and, doing all kinds of stuff just to go get a line wet and catch a bass and catch anything really. So yeah, that's definitely early on, probably 6-7 years old, probably when I started fishing.
And did you grow up in Texas? Is that where you're from originally?
Yeah. So, well, I was born in Iowa, and then I spent most of my time in Texas. Just middle school, high school, all that stuff. So
Your uncle was a guide too, wasn't he?
mm-hmm. Yeah, he got it on Fork. Sam Rayburn just hopped around a bunch of little lakes in Texas. Kind of like what I used to do a lot more out here was kind of hop around different fisheries and guide on them. So he did the same thing.
Very cool. And what kind of was that what sparked your interest, and you knew you always wanted to be a guide, or what got you into guiding?
I mean, I've always loved fishing. I've always loved catching whatever bites, not only just bass, but bass were definitely kind of the first love, I guess, in a sense, like, getting them on topwater, stuff like that. They're the most aggressive. So it just got me kind of addicted. But, I actually joined the military out of high school, and I wasn't really planning on pursuing fishing as a career ever, and then I did 6 years of that, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I was like, what am I passionate about, and what do I want to do with my life? And I just decided to start guiding, and that's kind of where I am now.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did that journey look like? I'm sure it wasn't you just had clients right out the gate, right? What did that journey of deciding I want to do this to being so successful now? What did that look like?
There's a lot of people that have talked about, when they start something, the old saying is like kind of fake it till you make it. You just got to kind of put yourself out there. And it's hard to do. You got to be a little crazy. You just got to be like, hey, like, I can show you what I know. I'm a good fisherman. You almost like, even if you don't believe it yourself and you don't feel like it yourself, you kind of have to lie to yourself and just be like, I can do this. I can put somebody on 10-pound bass, even if you've never done it before. And I can do this. And then all of a sudden it starts happening, and it's kind of like manifesting it, positive energy, all that stuff. It definitely comes into play. And so definitely when I started, I had to kind of do a lot of social media influence, YouTube helped a lot just because it kind of got my face out there, put a face to the name for the guide service. And then also just kind of like trying to teach what I knew on YouTube. So when I did that, people kind of, would listen to my YouTube videos, they learn a little something. They'd be like, okay, I want to learn a little more from this guy about, whatever subject while we're on the boat. And then they book a trip. And that kind of helped with, guiding is in the learning aspect, but then also the trophy aspect. We started catching some big fish on these trips. And then now I get less clients booking me for trying to learn how to fish. Not that I don't get those, but I get a lot more like trophy aspect.
Hunting.
Yeah. Trophy hunting trips. So yeah.
Absolutely. And that makes a lot of sense. I think that's how Brent found you, I'm pretty sure as well. I remember a few times I was like, because he's always watching fishing videos. I was like, who's that guy? He's like, oh, he's a local guide. And so I've definitely been on the other side of that where we've seen your videos and we're like, dang, I can't believe this. And you do such a great job. If for people who want to see his YouTube, it's amazing. But you do such a great job of explaining that day, whether it was a good day or a bad day. And that's something that I really explained to Brent when he was doing his YouTube too. I was like, you got to share the bad days, right? Like it can't just be a highlight reel. So you do a really good job of just being extremely honest and telling it straight, which I think also helps people trust in you and want to book you too. So that's awesome. Sweet. All right, Bella. So talk to us a little bit about your background, how you got into fishing and kind of where you're at now. For people that don't know, you have I love your TikTok name, Big Bass Bella. But
we coined that phrase for sure.
Yeah.
One of my clients did.
One of his clients always commented and would be like, Big Bass Bella's at it again.
And I mean, rightfully so. You have tons and tons of proof that you catch very, very big fish. So walk us through that, how that started for you and what it looked like as a journey.
I definitely started with like my grandpa and my dad. My grandpa grew up on the California Delta, grew up bass fishing, striper fishing, hunting. And so did the same thing with my dad, and my dad did the same thing with me. Growing up, he primarily raised me. I spent most of my time with my dad. And so, yeah, he always brought me out on the Delta, Berryessa. That was our time to just chill and hang out and really have father-daughter time.
Clear Lake too, a little bit.
Yeah, Clear Lake too. It was funny. I found a picture. I was going through old pictures and I was like, I think this was on Clear Lake. And I was like, I caught a bigger Clear Lake bass than you when I was young.
Oh man, yeah, it was a big one. I was like, what is that?
Yeah. Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people we'll get into this a little bit later when we're talking to you about just social media and stuff, but people tend to think your photos are fake. It drives me crazy.
Photoshop, always.
Yeah. And I think it's just, you have such big fish, people can't fathom. Like, there's no way.
But so when like he holds a fish, he's 6'4".
Yeah.
So he makes a 10 look like an 8. I hold a 5 and it looks like a 10. So I feel like
Very, very fair. And you do a lot of striper fishing also, right?
Yeah. We didn't do too much this year because we were like moving into our house here in Lake County. But yeah, I love striper fishing. That's one of my favorite ways to catch. I mean, on the Delta, striper. Mm-hmm. Top water, especially. So fun.
And we'll get into that too. For you guys that don't know, Bella is like the queen of frogs. Like, will throw a frog as much as she can until they won't bite a frog anymore. Like, she still is throwing a frog. Yeah. So we'll get into that too, because I know you are like the queen of frog fishing, and there's a lot of people that have questions about frog fishing. And we'll ask some of those later because I see them all the time in the comment section. So we'll definitely ask some frog questions because you are the queen of frog fishing for sure. Perfect. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. I know obviously you guys fish together and separately. So what does a normal day of fishing look like together for you guys?
I wake up and he's got the boat ready. Then it depends. I mean, he ties most everything up for me because I'm usually tired from work. Then we get out there on the water. and he usually hogs the live scope.
This time of year.
Yeah.
This time of year.
Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely really good because she'll just be sitting up there and I'm casting around in front of her most of the days because I'm running the trolling motor and stuff.
Yep.
And all of a sudden she just will hook up back there. I'm like, what is she even like? She'll be throwing at just random places. I'm like, what the heck? And of course, it's always a big one. Or even worse, you're looking at the scope and like you're looking around and I'll be like, oh, there's some fish, and I'll get ready to throw, and she's firing right in there. She doesn't even see it though. She just has that instinct, right? She just gets right in there. I'm like, and I'll like watch a fish eat her bait. And I'm like, God dang it, like what the heck, So it's just, I don't know. She's got that big, I call it the X factor. It's something that some people have, some people don't, that are just really lucky with fishing and big fish that they just catch them, and she's got it. So
Absolutely.
most days I'm trying to play catch up, or trying to I guess just catch the fish before she does. So, and she still freaking holds her own. So, yep.
Yeah. There's that gut instinct, I think, when you grow up fishing too. Sometimes you just have that gut instinct. You're like, I'm just going to land it over there and see what happens. Sometimes that turns out better than the live scope, because I have that same thing in the back of the boat. I'll be catching fish and Brent's like, not even, he's like, I'm done using the scope today.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Turn it off. Yeah.
Yep. There's a time and place for it, and there's a time and place not for it. And that's a lot of what I teach on my trips for sure. When to turn that thing off, because it's honestly a crutch nowadays in a lot of different situations.
Fishing up shallow.
Yep, exactly.
That's another thing. We often, I wouldn't say argue, but banter about where to go, north or south.
Now, we especially lately, because we've been wanting to catch them in one area of the lake, and then the bite's been slower because it's winter time, but we're still catching fish. And then we'll be like, but what if they're biting really good on this side of the lake? So we like run
like
all
shallow power fishing.
Yeah,
style.
it's just like we've been arguing about it.
And that actually is perfect. There's a question in here that says, where is your favorite area on Clear Lake to fish? Now, you don't have to give us all your secret sauce, but if you could give a couple ideas, like where do you guys like fishing this time of year based off of, I know it's every day so different on Clear Lake, but if you had to choose for December, where's your favorite place that you guys like to fish?
I mean, it really depends.
Mid-lake or south.
Like right now, this time of year is definitely like kind of mid-lake and south.
It's total live scope bite.
Well,
shaking a minnow.
A lot of the fish will push to ledges.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if you look at Lake or Clear Lake, how it sets up specifically, you got the big flat of the north end, and then you got the south end. That's at mid lake. It's all just like a bunch of ledges. So in the winter months, as well as the summer months, I think ledges. And then the spring and the fall, I think flats. So this time of year, since winter now, definitely in that winter pattern, we're focusing a lot south and mid lake right now.
Now, overall, not just December, I definitely favor the north end.
Yeah.
I love shallow power fishing, punching, frogging.
Definitely.
Kind of
yeah. Whenever we can catch them up north, we would rather be up there. It's special up there. They school up better. They just, and not everybody can find them because they kind of get in weird spots sometimes.
Where you have to ram your boat into 2 feet of water. And
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah. You have to do some things, especially in the summer months, to get to some of these shallow fish. And then the springtime's coming. They get in these weird little holes. I mean, it could be a
small hole,
a foot deeper right there. And it's the size of a truck or a boat.
Yeah.
And they're just stacked in there, and it's just weird deals like that on the north end. That's what I love about it.
It's like a puzzle.
Yep, definitely like a puzzle.
And that's the type of stuff I feel like that you have to go with a guide to learn, which is not just to be a plug for you, but for anyone who's like really wants to find out a lake near them, definitely find and book a guide, because it's going to save you a lot of time and headache and frustration of having to go out there yourself and find these things, because the local guides spend so many days on the water researching. And I know, Zach, we'll talk a little bit about that, but attest to it of there's so much that just goes into being a guide. It's not just I take clients out. It's you're constantly researching and understanding the weather, the fish patterns, like all of those things to be able to bring that to the people that are on your boat that are paying to be there.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. I can't tell you how many times we have people that, when's the best time to go like for this bite and this stuff, or like when, is now a good time? And I'm like, well, and I'm constantly talking to people, messaging people, phone calls, texts, not only trying to get people to book for the right time, but also trying to like kind of just advise people on when
redirect them.
Yeah, redirect them sometimes, because sometimes it's just like hey, if you're looking to do this is not a good time. You know what I mean? And like, try not to waste people's time or money, because that's a hard part with guiding. And, you know, that's how you get a bad reputation sometimes.
Absolutely. If someone comes to you and says, I want to do top water right now, and it's not top water season, then it's
Yeah.
not.
Take them out and have them throw a frog all day. They don't catch anything. You're like, you know, it's just not, what was that? You know, it's just like, why would you do that?
Absolutely. And do you do consultations on Zoom or online, things like that as well?
Yeah, I mostly do phone consultations. I will do Zoom consultations. It's like, I guess, a little extra charge, but it's for an hour and stuff like that. And we just I mostly do those with new clients or people who are new to the lake or new to California even, because they want to like
pick through bait.
They want to break down the lake. I can pull up like a map of the lake, zoom in on different spots, kind of show contour lines, all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, I do both.
Perfect. And what's your favorite part of guiding and your least favorite part of guiding?
You know, I would say my favorite part is definitely kind of like the hunt aspect of it. Like not knowing, like when you first get your client on the boat and you don't know, one, their skill level, you don't know their expectations, and you don't know what's going to happen for the day. It's definitely kind of like what keeps it kind of engaging for me, and like keeps it fresh. Because don't get me wrong, guiding can get monotonous and it can get like just kind of repetitive. So having that kind of, you know, love for the hunt of it, definitely is my favorite thing. Like kind of rolling up the spots and like not knowing if they're going to be there, and then the client throws out and starts catching them right away. It's like, all right, you know, it feels good in that sense. My least favorite thing is expectations, though. I'm not going to lie. Only for the aspect of, I was telling Bella about the other day, you get clients sometimes that are just disrespectful to the grind that a guide has to do to get them on fish. And sometimes we're fighting the lake itself, right? And whatever's happening to it for that given time, right? Some like a few years ago, there was a huge fish die off on the lake, right? And like other guides can attest, you know, it was hard to catch fish in some situations, and people were, you know, upset in certain, you know, situations about, you know, how many fish people were bringing in and stuff like that. But there's some things that are out of our control. Now, I do get frustrated with it at times, but at the same time, you can't. You just got to keep a straight face and be like, even if a comments, you know, a client's making weird comments that he hasn't caught a fish yet or whatever, you just got to keep moving and keep covering water and keep trying to get them on fish. And that's seems to be kind of how it, you know, you eventually get there and get them bit and have a good day. Is you just got to keep your head up and keep going.
I would imagine too, being a trophy, you know, a trophy guide, that can be hard because people come in with the expectation they're going to walk away with a 10-pound fish, you know, because someone maybe yesterday caught one with you. But it's like having that expectation of like, honestly, like there are unicorn situations, you know, and it's like you can do everything you can to put them on in the right area, but that doesn't mean the fish are turned on at that time. That doesn't mean that they want exactly what you're putting in front of them. So I could imagine that's tough.
It's frustrating. Like you have certain clients that want to catch numbers, and you try to advise them beforehand, and then those are the clients that will come out and only catch one fish all day, but it'll be like a 10-pounder or 9-pounder, and they're like, oh cool, that was great, but they like wanted to catch numbers, you know, and you're like, what the heck? And then you'll have that client who wants to catch that big one and catches 50 fish and whatever, just a ton of fish, and not only just like, you know, small ones, but like good fish, but he never got that 8 or 9, and he's disappointed, and you're like, oh dude, like it's hard. It's really people pleasing, and it's technically what guiding is, and it's very hard sometimes. But
it is customer service. It's a form of customer service. It truly is.
Yeah, but I love it. You know, at the same time, you know, you have your good trips and your bad trips. No guide's perfect, but I would say I'm lucky, and I have a lot of good trips, and pretty thankful for it. And just comes down to like a lot of time on the water.
Absolutely. Yeah, a lot. Perfect. And what's the biggest fish that you've had a client land, and what did that day look like? Like walk us through that day. What was set up right? How did that day go? And
he's got all these shadow boxes.
Oh geez, it's gonna show the bait. Oh no.
You have it. Nice.
You can't reach it. All right, I'll grab it.
It What was it? A 12?
It was a 1202. So
1202.
these clients were from Tennessee, and they booked me a couple months in advance, and they were doing a trip around the country, and I think they had just left Florida, and the guy rolled up, came up the dock, walked on the dock, and he's like, I want to catch my personal best. I was like, all right, what's your personal best? He's like 1175 yesterday or 2 days ago.
That's so hard.
I was like, all right, like we'll see. It was April, or no, it was early May. It was like late April, early May. And I was like, well, we'll see. There's some really big fish spawning right now. They're still pre-spawners. And I had like a grass patch out in front of like a little spawning bay that I was going to take them to as my second spot. And, we went to our first spot. We didn't catch anything. We threw a drop shot around and like fan cast it, nothing. And in the April timeframe, spawn timeframe, the fish are kind of notorious for being a little stingy in the morning because they're kind of, they might eat right away, but a lot of times if they're locked on spawning, it's hard,
Mm-hmm.
And so went to our second spot, and they started throwing this little chatter trash is what we call it.
How funny.
It's this little bluegill swim, and I just had him kind of yo-yoing that sucker through some grass out in front of a little spawning bay, and he didn't even get 2 hops on. I was still rigging up the other client with a bait as well. And he's like, I got one. I was like, oh, okay. Like, and he's just kind of reeling the sucker in. I was like, all right, like it must not be that big. So I didn't rush with the net at all. And then next, I see it kind of down there turned, and I'm like, that's a big fish. So I like grabbed, I had the net already coming up, but I got it right there. And all of a sudden it goes vertical and just jumps and spits his bait, but I like kind of landed in the net.
You caught it.
I have a video of it somewhere. But
so you caught it twice.
Net, and I was like, all right, like this is a giant fish, bring it in. I'm like, I think you just got your personal best, man. And we weighed it, and it was 1202. So
wow,
that was a pretty cool fish. Definitely memorable because he was just like, all right, I broke my PB 2 days ago, and like this guy just did it again. And then not only that, we went out and we kind of fan cast area drop shots, and I think they ended up with it was like 37 pounds that day.
Wow.
Granted, they had a 1202 in the bag, so that gets you up there pretty quick. But yeah, they caught another like 7, a couple 5.5, 6s, and we were just kind of working around with drop shot in that area, and we were just catching really big fish that were kind of moving up and in that kind of spawning mode, Of course, catch and release, because that time of year we don't want to bust them around everywhere, so don't got the cool 5 fish limit bag picture, but it was still a great
12
day.
will suffice.
A 12 will suffice, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that'll do. That's awesome. And someone asked on here, what was the worst fishing trip you have had, and what did you learn from that? I want to spin it to be a positive as well. So walk us through a bad day of fishing with a client, but what did you learn from that situation?
Man, it's hard to pick because there is multiple days where you just have bad days. But I would say the worst one I had with a client specifically, I just had a client who was very angry from the get-go. He kind of rolled up to the dock. One, he didn't want to. It actually started before the trip. He just was disagreeing with everything I wanted to do. Like I wanted to meet him at this dock. He didn't want to go there, so we changed to this other dock. All kinds of stuff. And so we got him there, and he, it was going to be a little rough that day. Like not rough, but like chop. And he was an older gentleman. And I was asking him, hey man, can you just wear this life jacket for me? It might be a little rough today. Refused. He was like, I'm not wearing a life jacket. I'm not doing it. And that's one thing for everybody.
Really kids.
Yeah.
Bad.
And that's for one thing for everybody watching. It's not, you got to wear a life jacket. You just got to. It's 99% of the people that end up dying on the water is because they were not wearing a life jacket. So definitely recommend that. But he was just being very, confrontational the entire trip. And I brought him to some fish, and he couldn't really cast. And I was trying to teach him how to cast, and he was frustrated. And it was just like we're just butting heads the entire time. So I ended up getting on some fish though. At the end of the day, I ended up taking him into like a little marina. And we just I had him working around in there, and it was crazy because he was actually happy at the end of the trip when he caught they weren't very big fish, but he was a small fit, and he was just happy about it. And I was like, okay. And he was completely cool with it, but it was just like, for me, I was like spun out. My brain was like mush at that point, just from like kind of running around trying to get him on fish, fighting him, and all that stuff. It seemed like, and so I definitely learned in that trip alone that you kind of have to
Cater to.
you definitely have to cater to the client, and when it comes to sensing, you kind of have to get the client on the boat and figure out what they're capable of and their attitude and everything. And then sometimes you have to adjust the trip to that, even if you don't want to, even if you think it's like, okay, like I don't have any fish for this situation, but I need to do this because these clients are not going to have a good day if I do what I was planning on doing before the trip. So that's definitely a big factor.
And that can be hard, putting your ego aside, I would assume too. Yeah. Like you're the guide, you know where the fish are, but if they're gonna fight you on it and not listen to you, then you're just gonna be like, all right, we'll do what you got to do.
Yep.
So that way they feel, that they're being heard, for sure.
Yep.
And I know you had oh, go ahead, Bella.
You're good at like always having a backup plan too, because we'll get on bites like soaking a worm, which when people book trips, they don't want to really throw a worm on Clear Lake. They want to throw a big swim bait, or frog or something cool. But his biggest fish this year came on a worm.
Oh yeah.
And we'll get on specific bites on worms, and then he'll get clients out who just refuse
to
do that.
Yeah,
it's difficult too, because he knows he can get his clients like on a bite, but having a good backup plan is very important too.
Especially on Clear Lake with how much just different things that happen, tournaments, fishing pressure, other guides. I mean, there's just so much other things going on that you don't know when you roll up to what you think you have fish located for yourself and your clients.
There's 14 boats.
And there's 14 boats on it. And you're like, oh, okay. Plan B, C, D, and E,
We were there on Saturday, man. People were literally fishing on top of us. And we're like, there's no tournament. It's a Saturday. We're like, what is going on?
Yep.
Absolutely. And so what is this kind of ties into that bad attitude that he came in having, right? When people have a bad attitude, as anyone who fishes knows, like as soon as you get in your head, you're dead. If you have that bad mental attitude, it is going to cause you to fish worse. It's just true. And I think everyone who fishes knows that. But what is one of the most common mistakes you see that people make when they're struggling? So like when people are struggling to fish, what's some things that you see as a determining factor? This is why you're struggling.
I think patience is a big thing. Like people don't give themselves enough patience, or like, they're not patient enough with themselves. They get frustrated quickly especially when they're making a mistake in front of a guide. Like they think like we're just like going to judge them or something. No, like our whole thing is to like get you on fish, and we don't care how much you suck. All I need out of you is one good cast. I don't care if you make 100,000 bad casts throughout the trip. If I can get you on one good cast and it's a big one, cool. So I would say the biggest thing is people get kind of like nervous, when they like at first, and then they kind of will get flustered with themselves, especially if like it's a very specific bite or certain situations like that where they need to kind of hit certain targets and stuff, and they're just getting frustrated about it. It's not a big deal, and sometimes the fish do things for you, and like it all works out. So I don't ever get frustrated with it at all, because like I've had clients just catch really big fish, like missing the target that I need them to hit by like 20, 30 yards. And you're like, oh, cool. Like that works, just luck is definitely a huge thing in fishing that helps a lot. And I just, like I said, people just need to have a little more patience with themselves.
Give yourself some slack.
Cut yourself some slack. It's just fishing at the end of the day. And the more relaxed you are, the bigger fish you catch. It's a natural thing. So.
Absolutely. And when people pay to go fishing, I think they have a little bit more frustration to it, because they're in their head like, oh, if they're not putting it on you, they're putting it on themselves, right? Because they know you catch fish. So they are putting it on themselves. And I think just knowing, like you said, that going into it of like whatever happens today happens, and knowing the fish have their own brain. They're going to decide what they want to do when they want to do it. And as much knowledge as you can give them, whether it's a good cast or a bad cast, the fish at the end of the day are still going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
I think it's just knowing that information in the back of your head.
Yep.
Awesome. And so I have, let's see here, one more question, and then we're going to start. Bella will ask your questions. This is a side question. I had somebody ask what each of your PBs are. I know, Bella, we were going to wait till yours until we got to the section where we talk about you. But I'll ask both of you guys right now. So what are your PBs?
Well, I just recently started weighing my fish like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think
She's got a couple big ones.
I have a couple double digits, I think, out of Berryessa.
Yeah.
But I caught
Didn't weigh them though, so don't count.
Right, I caught a 992.
Yep.
This year.
This spring, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a picture.
On this.
Oh, very cool.
That's the exact one too.
Yeah. It was funny too, because after he was like, I just tried that on. It was rusty. I didn't even actually think you were going to catch one on it. I was like, oh, okay.
I thought she was going to break it off the trees because like we were fishing around brush. Yep, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I had an almost 40-pound bag by myself too.
I got
one fish in the bag.
I got the second biggest fish in the bag. So I was pulling my weight. But yeah, we had 41 and a half that day. It was a really epic day.
Wow.
And she had 4 of the fish in the bag and most of the fish. She was just wrecking them. And I was just like, what is happening? I'm like throwing
fish in the back.
Well, it's because they wanted that 6-inch profile.
Yeah.
I was throwing like an 8-inch swim bait, and I got, like I said, the second biggest fish, but I didn't catch a lot of fish throughout the day. And she was just absolutely whacking the numbers and the big fish. And that's something with Clear Lake. When you get it figured out, they just they all eat it. You know what I mean? Especially during that time frame. But my personal best. So I came from Texas when I was a kid. I was 13 years old and I caught a 13. So
wow, 13 at 13.
Yeah, so that was pretty crazy. I was bank fishing on a lake. It's called Black Hawk Lake, and I don't really classify as my personal best because it was a bed fish.
Okay, yeah.
I thought this 5-pounder was on a rock, and I flipped in there. And I'm like shaking the jig in the 5-pounder's face, and all of a sudden the rock moved and ate it.
Okay.
So that was cool. And I just like walked backwards and dragged on the bank.
Your uncle was on a guide trip, wasn't he?
Yeah. So he
you pulled it from the bank, you said?
Yeah, I was like dragging it backwards on the bank. Yeah, it was honestly like for any kids that are out there watching this, like you never really know. Like I was in the marina where everybody launches out of, and it was during the spawn. And it was just there, like kind of crazy. So that was technically my personal best, but like I said, when it comes to bed fishing, like a lot of the personal best stuff, I mean, for me, my personal best not bed fishing was punching out of the Delta, 1082 out here in California. So that was cool. I kind of classify that one as more of my personal best because it was not spawning. So yeah.
Caught a lot of sins this year.
I've got a lot. Yeah, I've got a lot of double digits. Got a lot of 9s, like a lot of 9s.
Yeah,
but
like 9 9s.
It's one of those deals. I'm like, I don't know. Clear Lake's hard to get a 10 out of too. For a lot of people who fish it, like Sam here and
you had a bunch of 8s and 9s, but
we just cannot crack that double digit, man.
There's a lot of like 7 to 9 pound fish in Clear Lake, and then there's usually kind of a jump from 9 to like 11 for a lot of people. I don't know what the heck's wrong with me. Because I'm the only guy I know that catches like actual like 10s out of Clear Lake, and I'm like, what is going on?
You've called it too a couple.
100%, yeah.
Like I'm gonna cast over there and catch a 10 on this worm, and I was like, all right, have fun, worm boy. He does it. He catches a 10. I'm like,
that's special. That's in the I love that time frame. That pre-spawn time frame.
Now everyone's like, why didn't it eat it on my scope?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's something to say too about always just going back to the worm, even though in our brains we're like, it can be the least fun. Just like even like shaking a minnow, I don't want to do it, but I know like I will catch fish if I do it, but it's just not as fun, but it's just going back to that staple that you know is going to work.
Yep.
Absolutely. And that does bring me to the last question that I have, Zach, for you right now is what bait or technique do you have confidence in always, no matter the conditions? So if you were to pick one bait that you were like, I would throw this as a confidence bait any time of year, what would that be?
Man, that's hard to pick. So like, oh God, it's so hard because I'm always thinking about the conditions on what I throw. But if I had one bait to throw all year round, regardless of conditions, it'd probably be a lipless crankbait. only mainly for the fact that I live on a grass fishery like Clear Lake here, but like the LV 500, it's hard to beat, and it's a year-round bait. A lot of times you just change how you fish it.
Fish it deep and
You can
shallow.
fish it any way that you want. You can reel it fast. You can burn it, especially in the summertime, like warm water temperatures. I'm burning it around. As the water temperatures are either cooling down or like kind of rising up to that warm temperature, I'm doing that yo-yo kind of retrieve. And sometimes yo-yoing is not what many people think. Like, a lot of people are just ripping it up and letting it go down, ripping it up. But like, it could just be the little hops, like keeping it really low to bottom. And that's definitely a really big thing on Clear Lake for me. And then wintertime, you can drag them. You can drag a lipless crankbait like a jig. And a lot of people are kind of scared to do that. And I think it's because they're expensive. So maybe don't do it with that. Do it with like a rattle trap or something. But they're diamond shaped. I mean, they're really good at kind of staying out of the hangups. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's fishing line in those rocks or something like that, you might lose them. But if you get it stuck on a rock, you can usually kind of shake it loose, and it'll just kind of pop off. So yeah, a lipless crankbait is definitely number one for me. So.
Perfect. And that's something I had to learn too, that Brent had to teach me of. If you think you're snagged, don't just pull on it. Because I think there's so many times as I'm learning is like I'm snagged, or I think it's a fish, so I go to set the hook and then I just lose it because I get stuck in something. So that's a good point of if you feel like you're stuck, you can kind of work it out of there. Don't be like me.
It's usually the opposite thing to do. Like everybody wants to pull when they get stuck, but usually if you just give it slack, like just kind of shake around your slack line, that usually will come free. So that's definitely a little trick for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Zach, for sharing all of your guiding tips and stories. Do you have anything else that you want to share before we hop over to Bella?
No, not really. That's it.
Perfect. Awesome. All right, Bella, we're going to grill you now with some questions. So tell us just a little bit about what your daily life looks like. So you're a nurse, right? So share a little bit about what your work-life balance kind of looks like on a week-to-week, because I know day-to-days are different. You might be working 24-hour shifts or things like that. So what does it look like for you, and how do you find time to fish?
So I work 12-hour shifts, usually like either noon to midnight or 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. So I only work 3 days a week. So I have about 4 days off, and it's very convenient for me because he's always out on the water. So like even like in the summer too, I would get off at 3-4 in the morning and we would go out in the morning and fish. Yeah. So I think it definitely helps having Zach, because he just makes that transition of like work life into fishing a lot easier in terms of like
everything's ready.
Fishing, tying things
Everything's
up.
ready. She just has to get on the boat and go. And I'm like, oh, I got these rods all good to go.
Yeah.
It's just the guiding in me, I guess.
Yep. You got it ready to go.
So he does make it a lot easier.
And on those days that you feel kind of tired, like what still gets you out there, even though you're feeling tired and you might have been a long shift, what still gets you out there?
Just the hunt. The knowing that we live on a fishery where any day could be a double digit, especially when he's on big bags and I'm tired, but he sends me pictures and I'm like, oh, maybe I should have went. So, I think just that want to break my PB or catch a big bag, or if they're eating swim baits, I love swim bait fishing. So just the hunt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you had to pick crappie or bass, which one's your favorite? Because you're also a crappie queen.
That's such a good question.
So the Clear Lake crappie, I feel like aren't normal. They're like 3 pounds, which I feel like is a lot of the size of most bass in other states. So I feel like it's fun, especially on a light rod and light line. Yeah. And, loosen the drag. They're super fun. But
thousands of them too.
Yeah, you could catch them all day. But I think I'd say bass for sure. It's more of like a hunt for big fish, big bags, trophy hunting, that kind of thing. Crappie is just like, oh, it's kind of slow. Let's go whack 40 crappie real quick, like that kind of thing.
You're still trying to go for the crappie record though.
Yeah, right. I don't want to make Dave mad.
And how do you avoid burnout? Because I know you're doing content creation as well. You have brands that you work with. Obviously the working, and then also just fishing to enjoy fishing. Because I know for me, it can be hard sometimes when you want to enjoy a day of fishing, but then you also need to film content. And I know Zach too, with your YouTube channel. How do you deal with not feeling burnt out from everything?
I've had the last 20 days off. I try and put in like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks off a year where I kind of just hang out at home and just do like a mind refresh, just restart, refresh. I think having the like working 3 on, 4 off is also like the best schedule for me, because I used to work like 6 to 8 on in a row, and then I'd have all this time off, but half the time I was just dead and didn't want to wake up and get out of bed. So I think definitely not killing myself with too many shifts in a row helps. And then also taking a day, like whether it be before I start my shifts or the day after, just hang out at home, relax, catch up on sleep. Because I get off at 3 a.m. So I kind of adjust back, hang out with the dogs, hang out at home, get my life together, and then go fishing every day.
Had to stop her a couple times on fishing trips because we'll be on like I don't know, 5 or 6 days in a row.
Yeah.
And then she has to work like, I don't know, 2 days from that. And I'm like, you should just kind of hang back. Like, we've been hitting it hard. You're just going to be really tired and angry or just whatever. Like, just relax. And then so she'll just have a day off.
I think also like having like planning things to look forward to is also really important, whether it be like dates or going up to Sac to visit my dad, or say we go to Berryessa or go catch striper on the Delta. Just having those trips or dates or whatever to look forward throughout your weeks, whether you're working too much or burnt out. I think having something to look forward to is really important.
Definitely. And like you said, switching it up too. I know sometimes if I'm like constantly going to one lake, I'm like, can we go to the other one? Because sometimes it's just that refresh that you need. It might be like, I know when we go to Orville, we're catching numbers, not size, but when we go to Clear Lake, we're working for size too. And sometimes just switching it up can have that like mental refresh.
Definitely.
Yeah, Clear Lake will burn you out for us. So like I've been strictly on this lake for like
a year,
more than that. Yeah, and like I've been trying to get off it, but yeah, you just gotta kind of eventually you reset a little bit. I mean, it's kind of just one of them deals. You burn out a little bit, but you just gotta like get on a different bite and just kind of like throw something different again, and then it's like kind of comes.
Yeah, I feel like I get not so burnt out. I just I know big, like this is the season of the double digits and whatnot, but it gets old shaking a minnow, especially like you go to work and I get off my shifts and then he's like, "Are you going to go shake a minnow?" I'm like, "Not really."
Not right now.
Not necessarily.
Definitely
So,
not.
I mean, we do it anyways, and it produces big fish, but I think the season change too helps prevent burnout because other baits and
There's other techniques this time of year that get bit, but
swim baits.
The thing with the minnow is Clear Lake fish are definitely a little bit less wise to it for some reason than the East Coast fish. And so it's been fun the last 2 winters, this last winter and this winter.
What does shaking
been pretty good. Shaking the minnow, for some people that don't know, it's a live scope thing.
These little baits.
You put that sucker on a jig head, kind of like this deal right here. This is a CMF jig head. And you just you find a fish, you throw it above its head, and you shake it, and it comes up and eats it pretty much. There's a lot of little things that go into it.
It comes up and eats it once every 900 casts.
It comes up. A lot of times they don't even come up. You have to play cat and mouse. And that's some people are probably watching and wondering that. Like, so we've been catching some big fish, and they're not just eating it. A lot of times you have to like kind of get them in a reactive state and start chasing it down, because bass don't like it when they can't eat something that they kind of want to eat. So they kind of get pissed off and they'll start trying to eat it. And so you kind of got to play their emotion a little bit, and definitely the speed they move, you have to move with your minnow.
It's almost like dead fishing in a way. Like you're trying to piss them off enough to strike at it.
Yeah, it's a lot like it. You're kind of trying to like play their temperament for sure. And it's definitely difficult. But yeah, it's definitely a very good technique for big ones, especially now and through April, But
absolutely.
I like the swim bait bite coming very soon.
Yeah.
Late January, early February, it really starts showing up. And then late February, it's happening big time somewhere. And March, it's full blown. Everybody's going crazy, throwing swim baits everywhere. It's just, chaos. So, yep.
It's a fun time of year.
Oh yeah.
Glides this big.
Oh God, there's giant glide baits flying around. Everybody's just being crazy. It's fun.
And with that, Bella, do you see people coming into the hospital with because
Oh.
because obviously
Oh.
has
Yeah.
a lot of accidents. So talk to us a little bit about that.
When I caught that 992, I caught it on this flashy swimmer, and I think it was like 2 days after I went into my shift, and I got report, and I walk into the room, and the guy literally has a flashy swimmer stuck in his neck right here. Same bait, same hook, same owner hook, everything, and I was like, that's the wrong color. That's the first thing I thought of. But yeah, when we get the big tournaments that come into town, someone always comes in with a hook in them somewhere. Or kids. We get a lot of kids too.
Oh, that's so sad.
They have like a little cast master stuck in their back or something. But yeah, very, very common to see, especially up here in Lake County with the lake being so close. And yeah.
Absolutely. I did want to have one of these questions here answered. Somebody said, do you guys have any tips for training your dogs on a boat? I think that's a great question considering you guys have dogs on your boats.
Start them young. Yeah. Bring them out as a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important too for them to learn from doing, like when Blue, if it was warmer, like we have a little puppy. We just brought her out. But I think it's important, like, to let them jump in the water and to let them like learn from doing things.
And then kind of show them that negative reinforcement after if you don't want them doing it. Like, obviously, if he jumps in the water, bring him back in and tell him no and pat him on the butt or whatever, and give him that negative reinforcement. We have our little wiener dog, and that thing.
She's really good on the
boat. Low-profile dogs are best on boats.
Yeah,
by the way. You don't cast and hook them, and they just they stay out of the way. Their center of balance is great, so they don't fall in. But yeah, it kind of had to teach that little wiener dog.
She still will jump in randomly, like if we're flipping and there's like a big mat of hyacinth that looks like land. She thinks it's grass. She'll jump in and just like fall through the mat. I'm like, no, Beretta.
It's just her ears, like. Yeah.
But I think definitely bringing them out on the boat young is very, very important. And
baits when they because like Beretta, she's gotten hooked 3 or 4 times minimum. And at first she'd freak out and like you have to kind of get her quick before it sets, get in there worse. But she definitely learn not to chomp at baits or like, try to bite at them and stuff. But a lot of it's just kind of learning from trial and error. You have to be patient because it takes a year. It probably takes about a year or 2 to really kind of get a dog used to being on the boat. They have to be out there a lot too. So just being patient with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Sweet. All right. And then I'm going to ask you, Bella, since you are obviously one of the, I know, best frog fishermen I know. Don't tell Brian I said that. But you obviously love frog fishing. It pays off for you. I know a lot of people have commented before that they struggle with frog fishing. So what are some tips that you have for beginners, intermediate people, just anyone who's struggling to throw a frog?
I would say just don't fish it too fast. It really depends on where you're throwing it. Cover is really, really important. Like this year, we kind of fine-tuned the frog bite to specific vegetation. So paying attention to that as well. They were really on duckweed. What else? Frogs themselves are important. Don't be afraid to try different frogs. Just because someone says they're catching them on this frog doesn't necessarily mean you will. I mean,
what makes a good frog?
Even trying something like this was my go-to this year. This was my go-to. Everyone thought it was stupid because it looks like a little baby tadpole, but it wakes on the surface. So even like, don't be afraid to try different baits that people think aren't cool. Because then once I started catching them on this, which I caught them on pretty much all frog season, everyone was trying to buy these at all the stores because they worked. But I definitely say this was my go-to. These are hard to find, but popping fatties. I like snag-proof frogs. It's also really important too when you do get that bite. It almost sounds impossible. Like I know Zach would beat it into my head. Like, don't set the hook right away. You will rip it out of its mouth. You really have to like sit there and count and make sure that they have it, because I would get so frustrated in the beginning. Like I would get all these frog blowups and I would set the hook and I'd be like, what happened? But yeah, I just got so frustrated. But you really just have to sit there and be like, all right, count to 1, 2, and then set the hook. That definitely helped me with like my hookup ratio with frogfish.
I always tell my clients to like I always tell them to say it out loud. Like when they get the blow up, you say, does it have it? And then you swing. So it reminds you to check, reminds you to say like, does it have it? And you're looking for your frog. If you don't see your frog, it's got it, right? And then by the time you say doesn't have it or does it have it, and then you can swing. You know what I mean? So about a 1/1000, usually they got it. Clear Lake, they also do a little better. So they just kind of get
Clear
it.
Lake fish get it a lot better than on the Delta.
Yeah, the Delta fish slash had it. Clear Lake fish kind of just come up and just engulf it, you know. Yeah,
What
but
else?
that
Any
your
more
little
tips?
zoo wake was
Look up Bobby Barrick.
oh yeah, he's the legend. He's the king of frog fishing.
He is very good on frog
If you want to learn
fishing.
anything about frog fishing, rods, whatever, he's got probably a video for it. He's very in depth, but
very, very in depth.
and he kind of sounds crazy, but it's educated crazy.
He's caught
It's
the biggest frogfish ever.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got like a 15 or something crazy,
Wow.
or 13 on a frog. I don't know. It was something crazy, but
Your rod is also really important
Yeah.
too. It took me a while to find a good frog rod,
Yep.
and then I snapped it.
Was that the same day you guys snapped 2 rods?
Yeah, I did. I
She
snapped
did.
2
Yeah.
rods, and
And I
then
lost my glasses.
Andy lost
Yeah,
it.
in your glass.
My glasses right off
Which
my
was so
hat with the
fresh.
rod that she broke.
But it was a custom rod that his friend had made for me.
Yeah.
And I was so happy I had that rod and I broke it, and then it was just downhill from there. But
You got another one.
I got another one.
Yeah,
You gave me
you
another one. so,
replaced it.
yeah.
But yeah, the rod for like people that are watching that, you know, trying to get frog fishing figured out and stuff. One, you got to do it a lot and get frustrated because it's just part of it. Patience with yourself. Just get frustrated and keep learning from your mistakes. But something that can help is definitely the rod length. If you are a shorter person, you should have a shorter frog rod. It's going to help you. Just like a 7.2. Just keep, you know, I use a 7.2 a lot, and I'm 6'4". So like I have no issues with hitting, like it's got plenty of clearance. But if you can get away with a longer rod, especially if you're a female
While still
or a kid,
being able to make
while
those
still being
precise
able to like
casts.
make the precise casts, a longer rod will help you get like kind of pick up line better, set the hook better. It's going to really load the rod more and drive that hook better than a shorter rod will. But like I said, it's difficult because you don't want to have that like 7.6 like in the water while you're working a frog because of your height or whatever, right? So
Yeah, that was a difficult thing
Yeah.
for me, was trying to find a rod that was long enough
Mhm.
where I could work it and it not slap the water basically,
Mhm.
but still be able to have the right load on the rod.
Yep.
So
Yep. Like I said, we use a lot of megabass rods, but you can get away with a million different rods out there. Like the iRods are great, the Dobbins are great for
mhm.
it. You know, I think the one you're using for a while was an iRod. It was like an iRod Bobby's Perfect frog rod. So
Mhm.
I think like a 7.2 or something. But
I've
yeah.
heard quite a few things about that.
Mhm.
It's also important too when making casts with frogs, at least on Clear Lake, it was like very important that you hit the spot perfectly and quietly. Like that was a big deal.
And I mean, it's because they were so shallow.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
were
this
in
summer they were in what?
8 inches to 2
Stupid.
feet.
Wow.
You'd hit the duckweed that we were fishing, and like you're trying not to. You're trying to bring it in the bank, like bring it in, right?
Yeah.
And like
almost cast up onto the bank
Yep.
and work it off.
and then you bring it in, and then all of a sudden, like the duckweed would like wake. You're
Yeah.
like, what the heck? And then you'd like move it again. It would just like suction, and you're like, whoa! And then it would just be like a big.
It would just be gone.
Yeah, they really like that sucker that she found. I think
Yeah.
it was the tail. Like, oh man, they were just all over that thing.
Smaller profile too.
Yeah.
Also, don't be afraid to modify your frogs too. We
Oh, yeah.
dip and glow our frogs all the time, different colors, and
Yep.
switch out the legs. Yeah,
Yep.
modifying baits is fun.
Yeah, it just makes it kind of like something that it gives you that confidence, because confidence on the water is like really key, regardless of like any situation. But like, imagine catching fish on something you did to your bait that nobody else is doing. You know what I mean? You're probably going to be able to replicate it, one, and two, you're going to go around and probably just have that more confidence in catching fish throughout the day with that, modified bait, whether it's like she's saying, dip and glow, or who knows, like cutting things, trimming things, adding an
Different colored
8-inch tail
legs.
to a 6-inch bait, whatever, like just modifying things, zombie baits,
Yep. Absolutely. And I think too, that creates a little different than what they're always seeing too. When you're able to do that, it
Yep.
creates just a little bit of diversity and they might think, I haven't seen that. That looks good.
Yep. 100%.
Awesome. Perfect. All right, you guys, we are getting close to time and I want to make sure we have time for the tickets. So I'm going to ask the group, do you guys have any questions for Zach and Bella, Zach or Bella? Any questions you guys have, go ahead and type them in the chat and then we will go ahead and do the golden tickets right after that. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them in. Someone said while we're waiting, didn't Falcon have a Bobby's Perfect rod years back?
That's a really good rod. Yeah, they did. I don't know if they still make them. I think Bobby tried to work with iRod and get him, get set up with a newer type version of it. But the Falcon rods are, they're very good.
Perfect.
If you can still find them.
Yeah, that's just like those frogs too that they don't make anymore. It's like if you can find them, get your hands on them while you can.
Yeah.
They're
They
all
work
right.
really. I've heard they don't work as great like the Pop and Fatty themselves, like in other states, but it's a staple on the Delta and Clear Lake. It's crazy seeing like I threw the same black Pop and Fatty along with the Zoo Wake like all frog season. You'd throw something else in there and they wouldn't even touch it.
It's a big fish
So
bait
it's like
too.
yeah, 6s, 7s.
Yeah, they like it.
But it was so frustrating though because they're discontinued and they're like $300 on eBay.
Yep.
So
It's crazy.
The price gouging.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Someone said, what's the name of the frog with the tail? The one that looked like the tadpole?
Oh, it's called a Zoo Wake. It's from Snag Proof. They're really cool. They wake around on the surface.
Mhm.
I posted a lot of videos about this on my Instagram, like of fish blowups and all that. But
It was cool because she'd pause it. Like I thought it was the stupidest thing. But
Yeah, I
then
bought a
she started
bunch.
throwing them, and I saw it pause, and it just do this like little shimmy.
it does a little wiggle in the
And
water.
then she'd work it again, and then it would pause, and it would just like sit there and shimmy. I was like,
It
all
looks
right,
like
I
it's
like
like
that.
a pollywog. It's like
Yeah.
a little tadpole,
Yeah.
is what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
But
Just something a little different.
definitely.
Perfect. Someone asked here, will you guide on Berryessa still? And then I know they asked about rates. If you don't want to talk rates, that's fine. You can always have people go to your website or call you, or if you want to talk about them, but do you still guide on Berryessa?
I do.
It's difficult because you
Yeah.
have to get tagged out for it, but we're thinking about getting the second boat tagged out for Barry.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it all set up, ready to go. I just need to go get it hot washed and set up to guide on Berry. Clear Lake's been fun, so we haven't got around to doing it yet. And then for my rates, I guess you can all find them on.
Do you want me to put his website in the chat?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
If you want to pop his website in there, that's perfect.
Only because I have like a million different trip options. You can do 4 trips at one cost and just it'll be scattered out throughout the season. You can do a 6-hour, 8-hour trip, either or on my boat, or you can do a 6-hour, 8-hour trip on your boat. And my rates differ based on that, right? So, whatever option that people are trying to get on, or if they don't even want a guide trip and they just want some information to kind of point them in the right direction, I do those consultations as well to kind of get people, the information they need to get on fish, So you get it all set up.
Right. While you're grabbing that, let's see here. Was there any other questions? Someone just said they missed the name of the frog. I'm not sure if they meant the Pop and Fatty frog or the other one, but if you just want to share, you said was it the Zoo Wake? Is that what it was called?
It's called the Zoo Wake.
Zoo Wake. And that's by Snag Proof?
Yeah, Snag Proof. American Bait Works is kind of the mother company of it all. They own Snag Proof and a bunch of other brands, but Snag Proof products.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. I think that was all of the questions. The last one I see on here is, have you guys tried the fork frog trailer hook?
The fork frog, what are you talking about?
It says LALLKE. I don't know if that's supposed to be Lake Fork frog trailer hook.
I haven't seen that one, but I don't really like, I personally don't like using trailer hooks a lot on frogs. I could see maybe a situation like open water. And I've seen people put a large mosquito hook on the back of their frog hook. I've seen people do that and it works in open water. But I don't use a lot of trailer hooks. A lot of times if they're eating a frog, I'm going to find fish that are going to eat it good, and find the time in which they're eating it good. because sometimes they're going to slash at it until a certain time of day. Maybe the sun needs to be right overhead or something, and then they'll just eat the whole thing. So a lot of times your timing just has to be right for that type of stuff. So yeah.
Perfect. And I think Bella, I think I have, let me see if I can put the name of his link in here, if it'll let me.
Yeah, I was going to put my Instagram. Because I tried to log on.
It's just livefastmovementoutdoors.com. There it is. She got it up there.
That's the website. And then that's perfect. We got all the question answered. So that's great timing. Where can they find you guys? So if everyone wants to if someone wants to book with you or just follow you guys on socials, where can they find you?
I mean, we're on Instagram. She's on TikTok. I'm mostly on Instagram, Facebook, and I got my website.
I was typing in, I could put our Instagrams on there because they have, our links are on there too, to his guide websites.
Yep. Yeah. So you can find us all over Instagram. Mostly, it's mostly what we use. But yeah, and like my phone number's on there. People shoot me a text to book trips as well. I have no issues of responding, and you can call or text me anytime. It's no big deal.
Awesome. And I see people are asking about throwing frogs still. If you guys have any questions, definitely check out their videos on Instagram, on YouTube. They have a lot of videos of throwing frogs on there. And I will say they're both so nice people. If you guys have questions, just shoot them a DM because you guys have been super helpful for both Brent and I as well. Feel free, you guys, just reach out to them and ask away if you have questions. And if you guys are in the area, definitely book Zach. He's awesome. I've heard so many great things. You guys can see his Instagram as well, full of happy clients. So thank you guys so much for being on here. I'll go ahead and keep you guys up so you can type your things into the chat too. We'll go ahead and keep you guys up here. And go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start the golden tickets, you guys. So everyone who has golden tickets, go ahead and enter your golden ticket number into the chat. And we will go ahead and pick 2 winners. While you guys are doing that, this is how, if I pick your number, this is what you're going to do. You're going to send a picture of your ticket to rick@monsterbass.com. Make sure you have your cell phone number, your PB, name, address, and shirt size. I'm going to repeat that for everybody. You want to make sure you have a picture of your ticket so we can confirm your golden ticket. Wow, all is outdoors has all the tickets. Has all those ticket numbers on there. So you guys want to send your ticket number, your cell phone, personal best, name, address, and shirt size to rick@monsterbass.com. I'm going to go ahead and grab a couple of numbers out of here. Just keep entering them, you guys. All right, got one of them. Keep on plugging them in. All right, guys, we got our ticket numbers. So these are the ticket number winners here. 29000. So that's 29000. And then ticket number 42552. So again, that is 42552. Those are our winners. And I'll say it one last time for you guys. Send a picture of your ticket, your cell phone, personal best, name, address, and shirt size to rick@monsterbass.com. All right, you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Bella, were you able to?
I tried to, but it didn't work. I tried to put it in the comment, but it wouldn't.
If you just want to say it, so that way everyone can write it down and they can just go there. So what's your Instagram and what's Zach's?
Mine is Isabella, Isabelle Jang. Yeah, I think if you type in Isabella Jang, it'll come up.
Yeah, mine's just Live Fast Movement Outdoors. I did have a previous account. It's just Live Fast Movement. I can't get into that one anymore. I don't know what happened. It got stolen and then I got it back, but now I'm locked out. So, so if you message that one, you won't get a response from me. But the outdoors one, you will get a response from me. And that's
you can tell which one's more recent.
Yeah, you got recent posts on that one and stuff too. So.
Perfect. And if you guys, which all of you in here should be, if you guys are following Monster Bass on Instagram, their most recent post has both of them tagged. So make sure you guys, you can go find their Instagrams tagged in the most recent story as well. So check out the Monster Bass story. Thank you guys, both Zach and Bella, for being here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with everyone. Merry Christmas to everybody on here. And we will see you guys all next time. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.